Hi everyone. I have been disgusted by the hatred and abuse that has been fired at Stan Grant because of his colour and the articulation of his professional essence. I asked the panel, what needs to happen to stop hate speech, hate culture and hate acceptance from continuing to be a fabric of Australia?
Anara, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much for that. David.
We've clearly got a long way to go, and I think the Voice is an opportunity to have that conversation. I think we really need more leadership from politicians to stop playing the politics with us and recognise this for the opportunity it is to take up a generous offer from First Nations people, a consensus position from them on how we can start to address some of the systemic issues we're seeing. It's not going to solve racism, but I really think it is a step forward together. And you know, from my time in rugby, I think one of the things that really struck me and has stayed with me is when you see someone like Stan being, you know, what's happening to him, or when you were watching Adam Goodes getting booed, that's not just Adam Goodes getting booed, that has a ripple effect. And to see my Indigenous teammates and the effect that that had on their mental health, this is something that we're going to have to come to terms with as a country. We've got a long way to go, and it's going to take leadership, mature debate, but you know, you look around, we can be better. We have to believe that we can be. Michelle?
There's no place in our community for vilification based on any attribute, whether it be the colour of your skin, your sexuality, your gender, whatever. And modern Australia hasn't happened by accident. We are a melting pot. We are a triumph. And we have a degree of social cohesion in this world that is the envy of the world. So that is something to be treasured and to be protected and to be defended by not just leaders, but by all of us. So we have responsibilities to each other to maintain that social cohesion. On the issue of race, I would say this, that the most powerful debiasing force in our community is actually contact. It's contact with different cultures, both in your workplace, in your homes, and on your sporting fields. And the issue, I think, with First Nations people, and Stan, correct me if I'm wrong, is that they're only at 3.8%. They are an extreme minority in this country. You can live your whole life and never meet anyone with First Nations heritage. And I think that is the problem here, that we just do not understand their lived experience. We do not understand what intergenerational trauma means. We don't understand that it passes down from one generation to another like a bad gene, and it just cascades. And until we actually listen with an open heart and with curiosity, we will never understand. So I would say to people, we have an opportunity later this year, and we're going to hold a mirror up to ourselves. We better like what we see.
I think there's a practical thing here as well, though, because having read your article, Stan, one of the crucial things that happened in this instance was ABC invited Stan to talk on the coronation, knew that Stan was a proponent of the Republic, and then when the inevitable racist backlash occurred, ABC executives did not stand up and back in Stan Grant. And I think there's a lot of practical things, and I agree with a lot of what the panel said, but it's also about leaders in an organisation standing up and saying, you know what, this is not good enough, and backing in your people. Can I just say, we're having a debate in this country about a First Nations voice at the same time as one of the most public people in the ABC and in the media has basically been bullied and harangued out of a position of basically facilitating a debate on Q&A. And has been done so. I don't think, like, I imagine, Stan, you cop racist abuse all the time, every single day. But when you don't have your own people backing you up, I imagine, from reading your article, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think that ABC and all sorts of organisations need to hold a mirror up and say, when that happens, we need to have their back and know that they're part of a broader family.
Thank you. I am going to have something to say about this towards the end of the program, so I want to address some of these things directly.
Stan, may I make some observations?
Yeah.
I didn't at the moment. Thank you for the question, but mostly, Stan, thank you for your grace and your kindness and your continuing openness and your love towards others. What you have been through, what your family's been through, the testimony some of your family members made today, the outpouring of love we saw for you today, that gives me hope. Yeah. Yes, we have the voice this year, but it's our duty every day to be asking ourselves questions as to how we got here and how we get beyond it. Even tonight, flying down on the plane, Qantas makes an announcement about providing a safe and respectful workplace for everyone. And I thought to myself as I listened to it, how did we get to that point? To some extent, as political people, we expect to be yelled at all the time. Maybe we've all become a bit too thick-skinned. Maybe we need to bring grace back into our daily conversation with each other.
Thank you, Zoe. And I'm just wondering about that too, because part of what the comment that I made in my article was to criticise us in the media as well, because I think we bear responsibility for a lot of what happens, and the distortion that happened of words that I had tried to speak with love and respect. But I'm just wondering, where did this rot set in your view? David said politics needs to be better. I know that media needs to be better. What about social media? Where did the rot set in?
Of course, that's because because everyone feels no limit. There's no restriction to what people feel free to put out in social media, and then that bleeds into other areas. You know, we saw that in the campaign. There was some real nastiness in the campaign, and on racial and gender and other grounds. So I'm not sure if it's self-restraint, because I wish those feelings weren't there in the first place, but we've certainly got to name it. We've got to address it, and we have to think about things like social media, online debate, because there are no guardrails.
Can I just say too, we're all grown-ups and we're educating our children and our communities, and if we're not brave enough to stick up for each other, what the hell are we doing here? It makes no sense that you will cut down your neighbour, your best mate or your work colleague just to make yourself feel better. Stick up for each other. Go out there. That kid on the bus, stick up for him. The girl in the street who fell over, or she's got toilet paper or a skirt stuck up the back of her pants, tell her for Christ's sake. She doesn't deserve to be ridiculed and embarrassed in mainstream life. That's what we should be doing. We should be helping each other out.